Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Advancement Mentorship Podcast, a podcast for emerging leaders where we emphasize the place of development towards leadership advancement and also the role of mentorship in making effective leaders. And with me on the podcast today is a much sought after personality that I've been looking forward to meet. Thalita is such a phenomenal person that my mentor, Dr. John Maswell, talks about her in his book, Put Your Dream to Test. In case you have not read that book before, Put Your Dream to Test, I want to encourage you to grab a copy. And when you get to that book, on page 73 and 74, you will see the story of Thalita Boikhutso. Our story was shocking. Let me just give you a piggyback, a snippet of that story. Now, in this place, and this is going to be the title of this podcast on the power of passion. Now, in this story, and Dr. John Maswell talk about, the power of passion. I actually love this content. I love this book. I did a mastermind, a leadership training with great leaders all around the world. And I call it Living Your Dream. And that's why I'm so excited about today, because a lot of people, instead of them to live their dream, Live, you know what they are doing? They are living it, Leaving. So you are either living your dream, Living, or living your dream, Leaving, you're not doing anything about it. So you can be in the middle. So every day of your life, you are either living your dream or living it. There are few people that are living their dream. Many are not. What they are doing is they are living it, Leaving. Because living your dream, Living, is an uphill. Everything worthwhile is uphill. The reason why Miss Thalita is here today is because she's living her dream. So my mentor, Dr. John Maswell, talks about Thalita, and he was talking about the power of passion. And one thing that he said about passion, he said, what is passion? He said, it is an enthusiasm that not only gives you energy and focus in the present, but also gives you power to keep moving towards the future. He said it gives you fuel to pursue your dreams. And he now paraphrased a columnist called Will Hobbs that says passion makes possible waking up in the morning, wherever you are, however old or young, and bounding out of bed because there's something out there that you love to do, that you believe in, that you are good at, something that is bigger than you are, and you can hardly wait to get at it again today. So Dr. John Maswell talks about three things about passion. He said, I would say that passion does three significant things for us. The first thing he mentioned is a passion pulls us up, enabling us to overcome adversity. And this is where Miss Thalita comes in. This is where our story was shared. The second thing he said is passion pushes us out. That means giving us initiative. Number three, he said passion positions us well. That means giving us the greatest odds for success. Now, the first point is where I'm going to reference, where he talks about Miss Thalita. In talking about the first point, that the three significant things about passion is that passion pulls us up. That means enabling us to overcome adversity. People without passion cannot overcome adversity. They are just victims. They complain, go through all life. Now, this is what Dr. John Maswell said. He said, anytime you try to accomplish something of value, you will face adversity. He said, passion can help you get through. Now, he now started the story for Miss Thalita. John Maswell said, in July 2007, I spoke for Maxima Global Consulting in Johannesburg, South Africa. Though the trip to Johannesburg was long, I found the conference to be a very enjoyable experience. The day after the event, I had the opportunity to sit down with the organizers and talk to them about it. Thalita Boikhutso, the company's group chief executive and a 10-year veteran in people's development. Listen, this is that was some years ago. That was 16 years ago. Now she's a 26-year veteran now. Our guest for today, she's a 26 years veteran. I don't want you to think it's not 10 years. This book was written after that. I've been responsible for putting the event together. As we talked, she kept saying it was a dream come true. That means many dreams never come true. Miss Thalita has a dream, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She has a dream, and she was telling Dr. John Maxwell that it was a dream come true. So John Maxwell, I know my mentor, he would not just hear that word and stop there. He has a high CQ. CQ means curiosity quotient. Look at what he said. So when I asked her to explain, she said the previous year she had come up with a new leadership development concept for the company, an international leadership event. Now, John Maxwell quotes Miss Thalita. He said, this is Miss Thalita speaking now. I made a decision in 2006. She said that each year I will do at least one big thing that will grow not only me, but many other people in my country. What was my definition of big? For me, it was something I believe was impossible. Wow! That means the impossible is possible through the power of passion. I said, something high risk. Dr. John Maxwell bringing you to South Africa for this event was my big thing for 2007, and I was determined to make it happen. She went on to describe the many obstacles she had to overcome to hold the conference, such as not winning over a business partner until she pledged to reimburse the company out of her own pocket for any losses. Wow! The dream is free, but the cost is not. That is how passionate she was. She was ready to pay for the dream. A lot of people, they are believers of dream, but they are not owners of the dream. They just believe in the dream, but until you own your dream, you can fulfill your dream. She said when she failed to enlist other corporate sponsors, she didn't give up. Her passion carried her through and won over a team. Before the conference, many knew what the event meant for me and our business, Thalita said, but very few comprehended what it meant for them and their organizations. At the end of the conference, many wished they had invited friends, families, and more people from the organizations. Many wished the conference could run for another day. Many wished they could have a similar conference in the near future. And summed up the overall experience of the conference in one word: magnifique. MAGNIFIQUE. The journey was long, but the benefit at the end of it all is priceless. And that was a dream come true for me. Wow! Without wasting time, I would like to introduce to you the indispensable Thalita Boikhutso. How are you, Miss Thalita? You're welcome. And just for you to understand, Ms. Thalita is the co-founder and managing director of Alona Advisory Services, as well as an independent non-executive director of various companies. She has over 20 years advisory services experiences with specific focus on financial services, mining, FMCG, oil and gas, and public sector, as well as 15 years of board experience. Remember, I told you she got 26 years in people development too. Yeah, she has chaired and served on various board subcommittees, including HR and remuneration, nomination, social ethics, and strategic and technical. So I'd like to bring to you today the only indispensable Miss Thalita Boikhutso. How are you, Miss Thalita?
Well, thank you so much, Michael, for having me over. I really appreciate the opportunity. I feel so honored to join you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Thalita, I've shared so much about you. I'm so excited because I want people to get this book and and read that and see how the power of passion, because that's what we'll be talking about today. Because a dream cannot come into reality without the power of passion. I like to define the dream the way my mentor did it, because I don't have a better definition. He said a dream is an inspiring picture of the future that enable you, that empowers your will, emotion, and mind, enabling you to do everything you can to fulfill it. So, and can you tell people about you? I mean, I've shared a lot of things about you. So who is Mr. Thalita from your own mouth? Add it to what I've said.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
Maybe there's something that I left out. I want you to.
Yes. First, who am I? First and foremost, I am a mother to an extraordinary girl child who never ceases to amaze me. I'm a daughter to an equally remarkable woman who has raised me into the woman I am today. And I'm also a connector. I am very relationship focused and driven. And that applies in my approach to life, approach to people, and approach to business. I love connecting with people as well as connecting people. I believe that success is never achieved alone, but in tandem with others. So to sum it up, that's really who I am.
Wow, that's awesome. And I like what you said. Success is never achieved alone. It has to be with others. I'm privileged today to work with 12, key leaders. And I mean, these are top-notch people. They've been in my training many times. And so, and we created an alliance, and I call them the TLC personalities. And TLC means the LAMP Consortium. So we created a community. LAMP means Leadership Advancement Mentorship Platform, so we created a community called, LAMP Global Community, and which is a growth environment and a global leadership community, and for the development of the leaders that is within Emerging Leaders, we have a quarterly masterclass. We just had one May the 6th. The first one was March 4th. So we had one May the 6th, and the next one will be coming up August 24th. During the masterclasses, 90 minutes, we have breakout session that the TLC personalities, the last time we had 7 different presentation, world class. I mean, they just touched so many lives. We got like 100 people and close to 100 people sign up for that, and it's free. We may just make it free. And we're doing a lot of projects, and one of the projects we're working on is called WILL, Women in Leadership League. Yeah, Women in Leadership League. And the vision of the Women in Leadership League is to inspire and equip women all around the world, to be authentic, world-class, and effective leaders. And we want to make a statement that women's place is beyond the kitchen, we'll be having a conference called MFM Made for More conference. And we're going to start virtual. Don't worry, we're going to bring you. We want to bring world shakers, because the goal is we want women to know that they are made for more. We want women like Miss Thalita, Margaret Thatcher. Women are made for more. And I believe that women in leadership is critical into the heart of God, because women have been sidelined a lot. I've had that conviction since 1999 when I was in medical school, and I've promoted women, ladies in ministry. Some people are not like me, some men, they don't like it, but I believe in women in leadership. And so that's the thing about it. And as a woman in leadership, when was the time in your life that you became aware of this leadership potential on the inside of you? When did you become? Because I believe for change to happen, there must be an awareness. And number 2, the acceptance of responsibility to pay the price, because change is not automatic. It has to be intentional. So when did you discover When did you find that? And how did it happen? And how old were you then that you just find out that I have this potential for leadership? Yeah, thank you.
So Michael, my journey has been quite interesting in that I have been so blessed, throughout my professional career to have been exposed and had access, to role models and men and women who have been very instrumental in molding me into the person that I am today. They have been served as a source of inspiration and knowledge as well as wisdom. My biggest break, of my career was actually in my late 20s when early 30s, I was appointed as a director in one of the international audit firms. And I remember at the time I stepped up from a senior manager role, having been in consulting, to a director. And so there were two things that the significance for me was twofold. The first one was that jump of becoming, when you run projects, you become a leader, project manager. But when you step up to that level, you have different dynamics there. The second one was the organization itself, and the portfolio that I was tasked with the responsibility of managing. And the environment was quite, I found it quite volatile at the time. And I think the trajectory was also quite steep, for me. And I had an incredible woman who took me under her wing and imparted some of the skills and knowledge and competencies that I needed to be able to not only to survive in that environment and function, but to thrive as well. And I always tell people when I speak to young people that one of the key lessons for me from that experience, what I learned was the understanding and being able to navigate the unwritten rules of an organization, because your written rules are easy to navigate as it's expected. Also, I had to learn very quickly that as a leader, you can never go it alone. Right?
Yeah.
Dr. Maxwell talks about leadership being influence, right?
Yeah.
And also he talks about making sure that we don't fall into the trap of seeing ourselves or behaving as a positional leader. So people respect you because of the position you hold. And when you begin to grasp the importance and significance of collaborative leadership, it's way easier to get buy-in from your team, and always been a firm believer of achieving your vision and goals through people. That if people buy into your vision as a leader, they understand it.
Yeah.
To get them involved in crafting and solution kind of based engagement, it becomes much easier for people to respect you as a leader, but also to want to journey with you in working towards that vision.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. But how did you develop the awareness? How did it come? How did you become aware of that leadership potential instead of, because you saying some things and I was just jotting, I was just doing stenography now. I mean, you're using some words, some right words, some punchy words like solution engagement, buy-in, collaborative leadership. I said, wow. But how did you discover this leadership potential inside of you? How did you discover it? Did somebody call your attention to it? How did it happen?
Can I be honest with you? I think primarily through exposure to a lot of literature around on leadership specifically, but also watching and learning from your role models. You look at how they impact people. You look at how they diffuse potentially volatile situations, not by trying to impose their exercise their authority and power, but by engaging people and making sure that people understand where you're coming from, but most importantly, them understanding where, their team, their point of view, where they are and where they come from. So a lot of it really comes from having been around incredible leaders. You're asking, when did I know I had the potential?
Yeah.
In fact, the answer to that is someone saw that potential in me.
Yeah. When was that? And how old were you then? How old were you at that time?
I was in my early 30s.
When somebody saw that potential.
I was in my early 30s when I stepped up, into a role that was quite demanding. There was a lot expected of me. In fact, when I accepted the role, I had doubts in my mind. And I need to be honest with you, it wasn't an easy journey at the same time, because I don't want people to get a view, a perception that the journey was easy. It wasn't easy. In fact, at the time, it felt like I was in a furnace. But in hindsight, because that role and that environment prepared me for greater things. Because at the time that I engaged Dr. Maxwell to bring him to South Africa, I had already walked through the furnace. I had been sharpened. The vision was there, and I had stepped into a group chief executive role. But the foundation was laid in that environment. And
so who saw that potential? You said somebody saw it. Can you tell us the name of the person that saw that potential inside of you?
Yes, I worked with an incredible lady called Tshidi Mohabuti, and just a bit of background on her. She was one of the first Black women chartered accountants in South Africa. She's quite a lioness. She's no longer in practice. She serves and still shares her leadership and knowledge, in a different way through boards and all that, and serving the public sector at that level and kind of not advisory. And she saw that potential in me. And I need to be honest with you. If I look at it, it was really not your formal type of mentorship relationship, right? It was a very informal. So it was never a case of, I see this in you. This is a plan that we're going to put together. This is what I expect of you. She was my boss. I knew what she wanted. I knew and understood her standards. The first time I worked with her, she threw me right at the deep end, and it was a swim or die kind of setup. And I had to swim. And she's known to be a grower of people, of women specifically, and forever indebted, to her for seeing that potential in me, for being unapologetic, about what I could achieve, because I didn't see it at that time. And she was a very tough leader, but I learned from her a lot. Wow. And when I look at where I was then and where I am today, and even 10 years thereafter, I can say with certainty that the foundation was laid there.
Wow.
And how I interact with people I work with partners, with employees, with friends and family, a lot of the principles that I apply in my life right now today. Were in that environment.
Wow, that's awesome. So can you tell us what price you have paid? Now, I haven't been aware through someone pointing you, someone seeing something in you and encouraging you, giving you the platform and to fulfill that leadership potential. And I like to tell people about the price point of leadership. And like I said, the dream is free, but the cost is not. You have to pay the price. So can you tell people what price have you paid towards your leadership and development? Because I believe there can be no leadership advancement without a development. So it takes development for you to even come to a stage in you thinking about bringing Dr. John Maswell to South Africa. I mean, he's far away from South Africa. And in fact, I wish we can do it. We're going to bring you again for a different podcast, where you're going to tell us about the process. I'm really interested in hearing that. I got a lot of questions on that, for real. I'm just putting it out there. So we're going to bring it out for the part 2, Yeah. So that will be like, that's going to be a classic really on that. But this is the first time we're having you. So I want to ask, what price have you paid? What does your own price look like? Because everybody's price is different, but everybody paid the price. What is common is everybody got to pay the price for development. Maybe you paid to attend conference, you paying for a training like me now. And 3 years ago, I joined the Maswell leadership. And at that time, it was called John Maswell team. And and towards my certification, I paid $4,200 US. That's a price point, And even after that, when 6 months later, when I joined the mentorship, I paid another almost $1,600 to join mentorship, which I have to renew every year, but by $500. Now I want to go to the executive program level now. I have to pay an extra $2,500. So like I said, there's always a price point. Then you have to travel to the conference, pay for the conference, which is almost $1,300 US. You pay for your accommodation right there for the flight and all that. A lot of people think that, you can just stay in your own corner and become a leader. Let me watch free YouTube. They think through free, you can. No, you can't become a great leader through FREE. You become a great leader through FEE. There's a fee to pay. It's not a free ride. So can you tell people what the price look like for you? What price have you paid towards your leadership advancement? Thank you.
Yeah. So Michael, so I'm not going to try and quantify it in monetary terms, but I can tell you that if you want to grow as a leader, there needs to be a concerted effort to develop yourself. And that development goes beyond networking with, people that you see as role models or people who inspire you. But what it also requires of you is to introspect, because there are probably certain things that you have to give up in your life, right? To be able to grow, right? And certain practices and certain habits that you have to give up to develop as a leader. And part of that for me was learning very quickly how to make sure that in that development journey, I do not lose myself as a person. That is very, very important. I've had people ask me a while back, why all the people in my circle, business and personal relationships, friendships, right? Why everyone is older than me? And in fact, with friendships, the age gap is not that wide. You're gonna people who are 5 or so, years older than me. But when you look at professional business, you'll find me in a company of people, what people say, really old people. And the reason for that has been recognition that you need to have a well of wisdom that you can always tap into. And a lot of times what you find is that often we think we want to be relevant. We keep relationships that don't serve us. So what has been the price it has been the biggest prize was letting go of relationships that were not. Because in your leadership journey, you need to also recognize that you're going to have people, Dr. Maxwell calls them your adders, right? To add to your life. And you're going to have people who take from you, right? And we have to be very careful as individuals, as leaders, that we, as much as we develop others, let us surround ourselves with people who are there to celebrate us, who are there to help us grow, contribute to our growth path as we contribute to theirs. So the biggest prize has been letting go of relationships that were not serving me and what I wanted to achieve.
Wow, that was huge. Wow, that was huge. I tell you, like I have what I call the LED concept. And I learned this from Jim Rohn. He didn't call it the LED concept. I call it the LED concept because I love acronyms. So he talked about dealing with different kind of people. And but like I said, I put it in a acronym form. And so there are three kind of people. So the L, I mean, in dealing with people, you need to have this understanding with association. So there have to be a limited association. So there's some people that you have to limit your association with them. Maybe some of them are even your family members, and because they are not adding so much to you, they are not serving you. I like the way you put it. The relationship that are not serving you to achieving your dreams. Because whoever is not going in your direction is a distraction. And I believe that's what you did. So you need to limit your association with those people. Then we have the E, expanded association. The people you want to expand your association with are people that are serving you in achieving your dream. In fact, I just came up with an acronym of recent. I was about to do a training and God gave me that inspiration. It's going to be in a book. And it's called, the book is going to be titled, "We Are the Beautiful People." The people we need in our life are beautiful people. You want me to give it to you now? Okay. And I believe this is what this expanded association about. They are beautiful. The acronym is beautiful. The B, people that believe in you. They believe in you. And the belief is what makes us to reach our potential. E, people that encourage you to go for your dreams. A, people that applaud your victories. When you become a victor, they applaud you, they celebrate you. Then T, people that trust in you. They trust in you. Then I, people that influence you positively. They are positive influencer. I can give them the acronym for that is influencer. That's another teaching. F, people that fight by your side against your opposition. It has to keep something, let me back up again. B, people that believe in you. E, people that encourage you to go after your dreams. A, people that applaud your victories. Then you, I didn't mention you, people that unlock your potentials. T, people that trust in you. I, people that influence you positively. And F, people that fight by your side against your opposition. Then we come to U, people that unite with your other allies. So when they fight you by your side against your opposition, that means they are your ally. But the U now talk about people that they unite with your other allies. They don't go against your allies. They unite with them. And the L is people that love you unconditionally. Wow. Those are the big, yeah.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah. These are the kind of people that you want to expand your associations with.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we, when especially, when we seek to please others, right? We find it difficult to make difficult decisions, right?
Yeah.
Nothing personal about it, right? Because if we instill the same values in our young leaders, right? We build leaders who are solid, leaders who have empathy, leaders who have empathy, but they're also decisive.
Yeah.
Leaders who they are visionaries, they know what they want to achieve,
Yes.
and they pursue their dreams fearlessly.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're right. You're 100% right. So the last one, which is D, is dissociation. People that you have to break away from, because they are even hurting you. They are taking all the energy to fulfill your dream. Yeah, without wasting time, because we have few times left. The question I want to ask you again is, what has mentorship played in your life? What role has mentorship plays in your life of becoming an effective leader? Because we have 3 more minutes to finish. I want to just make sure that I got that right. Yeah.
Okay. Mentorship has played a very instrumental role in getting me to where I am today. Right?
How? Yeah, how?
I suppose if you look at not only the support that you get, but just being able to have access to a resource that you could use as a sounding board. That person who's there to support you, when you're feeling either you're feeling stuck or you're feeling perhaps things get tough and you're feeling hopeless, but someone who's able to help you bring a bit of clarity in what you're wanting to achieve. Because often when we go into a mentoring relationship, right, we have a vision, we have a goal. I want to become that. But when you have someone who helps you in crafting, in charting that flight path, right? And someone who also brings in a different perspective in unpacking what it is that you want to achieve and how to get there. I think that's the best thing that anyone could give another. So I've had the beauty of or the advantage of having access to that, throughout my career. But I think most importantly, Michael, the most important lesson I have learned out of my mentoring relationships is the value of paying forward. The value of paying forward. Because my mentoring relationship have helped me to tap into my true potential, I feel I have the responsibility and power to invest in the development of future leaders, who in turn invest in the next generation. And that is my focus right now, at this kind of point in my life, where I'm looking to spend more of my time with girl children. And one of the myths that I would like to dispel is that leadership begins when you are appointed in a leadership position. We become leaders in our communities, in all that we do in our families. And if we can instill those values in our children, half the battle is won.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, it's been a real great time with you. Like I said, we're going to bring you back for part 2. We can't just have enough of you. I tell you, because I'm having a guest coming in 5 minutes now. I don't want it to interrupt this flow. But the thing I want to say is we really appreciate you. Miss Thalita, you've inspired every one of us. And through your story in the book, and even today, like I said, I'm coming back for you. Just be ready, because you just talk about your next focus of raising a new generation, and I'm really interested in that. And I would like to bring you back based on that, because this is what this podcast is committed to: the emerging leaders. And after we go offline now, I'm gonna get a date for you to come in for the part 2, because there's a lot about not you just being mentored, but mentoring other generation. Like I said, I'm working on a project now. We're raising the leaders of tomorrow, because there's a need for leadership, and not just leadership, the right leadership, right modeling. We need people that can help to correct every wrongs in the society. And we do that when we do leadership right. So how can people connect with you? People are hearing you speak, they say, wow, I just love this woman. Yeah. And so how can people connect with you? I know how to connect with you because I have to look for you to find you. But how can people connect with you? People don't have to go through what I go through, but how can people connect with you? Now you can tell them directly. Yeah.
Yeah. So the best way to connect with me, LinkedIn, Thalita Boikhutso, you will find me there. In fact, if you just Googled me, I know one of the things that pop up is Dr. Maxwell's book. But if you can just try and reach out to me on LinkedIn, you can also try our website, www.alonaadvisory, advisory.com. And the details should be there.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Ms. Thalita. It's been a great time with you. I like to tell you, you really deliver the goods today. Like I said, we're coming back for you. Yeah. There you go. Great listeners and viewers. I believe you have great time from this podcast. As I did, I had a great time. I learned a lot. There was so much value that was added, and I want you to know that till we come your way, with another great guest, I want you to just learn all these things, and we want you to put it into practice, because that is what makes all the difference. So put into this application, and I believe your transformation is inevitable. Thank you. And till we come your way with another guest next time. Thank you.